happening in the world of agriculture, a bull market of insane proportions. Now, it's not hard to see this one. Last Friday, Deere reported, okay? And the farm equipment and equipment maker, they do a lot of industrial stuff too, I should say it, sounded pretty middling about his future. But I read it, I said, geez, these guys are pretty downbeat. Of course, when I heard the actual numbers, though, I was stunned at how well John Deere is doing. Deere remains a quarter, and I have total faith that next year is going to be super for them. I've always liked the ag space because people have teeth, but there are times when farmers are over planning and the group does poorly. This is not one of those times, which is why Deere could rally on its so-called poor quarter and why it's got more price target boost response than any other company I can remember this earnings season. I got even more convinced about the ag bull market after speaking with Scott Wine, the Apple, albeit tough CEO of CNH Industrial. That's an amalgam of Case and New Holland, venerable names in the farm equipment business. I happen to like the Forlorn AGCO too, and as a longtime proponent of Tractor Supply, I know that they have the game wired and offer terrific prices in the very underpenetrated feed and grain markets. But increasingly, I find myself drawn to the FERTs, Wall Street's name for fertilizers, namely Mosaic, CF, and Nutrient, all of which trade at mid-single-digit price-to-earnings multiples here, as the group has reportedly broken the hearts of investors who stayed too long. Now, anyone who's followed the group knows that when the grain complex peaked not that long ago, the fertilizer stocks did roll over. Now, though, we have horrible droughts throughout the northern hemisphere, and that means corn yields will most likely disappoint. Ukraine, which accounts for 13% of the world's calories, is operating basically half-mast. And what can I say? Talk about visibility into 2023. Let me throw in the seed companies, too. Most visibly Corteva, a company I talked to, with improving fundamentals that might be able to put through a price increase, maybe even two, in the not-too-distant future. One of the rare outfits that still has tremendous pricing power in a world where people are very worried about pricing power at all. Second bull market, well, one of my long-term favorites is auto parts. Yeah, longtime Kramer fave AutoZone remains the king. And I can tell you, as the owner of a 16-year-old car, the Zone is the best place to get what you need. Let me put AutoZone in perspective. Last night we heard from Salesforce announcing its $10 billion buyback, and we instantly huddled over the impact. That's huge, right? I gotta tell you, it's nothing next to AutoZone. This company had 30 million shares in 2016. Now it has less than 20 million shares. During this period, the market capitalization has grown from 21 billion to 43 billion. Now, there's also Advanced Auto Parts, but it missed last time out. I want to get into the Zone. Keep it simple. Third, it's hard to tell because of the endless series of mishaps from Boeing. But there's a bull market in aerospace and defense, too. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has caused the West to get serious about armaments again. And when you think about armaments and aircraft, that means you should be thinking about Raytheon. Here's a stock that seems almost chronically undervalued. It's up 12% for the year. It's pretty good versus the averages, but not so hot compared to the strength of its end markets. Here's how you have to think about Raytheon. Right now, the United States has only given Ukraine $13 billion security aid. I think it's a travesty. But if our government believes Russia's run by lunatics who will launch nukes if we escalate the situation too aggressively, then we're stuck with that low level of involvement. In that case, there are really two ways the war could play out. Either Germany and France decide to sue for peace once it gets colder, and Russia decides to put the squeeze on their desperately needed natural gas supplies, or the U.S. government decides, switches its purview, and says, you know what? We're going to treat this like a full-blown proxy war and defeat the Russians, the same way Reagan beat the Soviet Union in Afghanistan and then subsequently with the wall falling. We'll need more big weapons in either scenario, and that's Raytheon. I would have emphasized Lockheed Martin too, but it's already up 23% a year. I'm betting Raytheon can play catch up. Finally, there could be a long-term bull market coming out of the inaptly named Inflation Reduction Act, because there are huge climate subsidies in there. In fact, there are parts of the legislation focused on making the electric grid more climate sensitive, and they read like they were written by Generac, a company we just heard from. Generac produce products can store solar power and help you sell your energy back to the grid.